The dropship pierced Avalon 4's atmosphere. I gripped the harness tighter, my enhanced muscles tensing involuntarily. The rest of my squad sat in silence, each lost in their own thoughts about the mission ahead. I'm Sergeant Zane Blackwood, leader of this band of augmented killers. We're the product of Project Titan, genetically enhanced super soldiers created to secure humanity's future among the stars. At least, that's what they told us. 2 minutes to touchdown, the pilot's voice announced. I performed one last equipment check, my movements automatic. The weight of our mission pressed down on me, heavier than the reinforced armor encasing my frame. Our orders were clear: secure the alien ruins, retrieve the artifact. Simple in theory. But nothing's ever simple when you're dropping into unknown territory on a hostile world. I looked at my team. Corporal Trent, our sniper, methodically adjusted the scope on his rifle. Private Chow, tech specialist, mumbled to himself as he ran last-minute diagnostics on our comm gear. Private Rossi, demo expert, fingered the detonators on his belt with a disturbing smile. The ship shook violently, nearly throwing us from our seats. "Encountering extreme turbulence," the pilot reported. "Prepare for rough landing." As the others braced themselves, my mind drifted to the day I became more than human. The white lab, the searing pain as they rewrote my genetic code, the burning shame as I realized what I'd agreed to become. A bone-jarring impact snapped me back to the present. We'd landed. "Gear up," I barked, unclipping my harness. "Chow, get me atmospheric readings. Rossi, prep the perimeter sensors. Trent, find us a vantage point." My team moved out as the dropship's ramp lowered. A wave of humid air hit us, carrying alien scents that set my senses on edge. The jungle stretched out ahead, a chaotic expanse of violet foliage that seemed to throb with sinister vitality. This mission felt wrong from the start, but we had our orders, and good soldiers follow orders. Don't they? The thought triggered a flash of memory. The genetic enhancement process, the scientists debating ethics as they reshaped us into weapons. I shook it off. Now wasn't the time for doubt. "Move out," I commanded, leading my squad down the ramp and into the alien wilderness. The jungle swallowed us whole, hiding untold dangers in its depths. Our first objective lay half a click east, the ruins of an alien outpost. As we pushed through the dense undergrowth, I noticed movement. The plants themselves seemed to shrink away from our presence. "Contact front!" Trent's voice cut through the comm. I raised my rifle, catching a glimpse of something large before it vanished into the foliage. "Form up, watch your sectors," I ordered, scanning for threats. That's when I saw it, a vine snaking towards Rossi's leg, barbed tip poised to strike. "Down!" I shouted, opening fire. The vine exploded in a spray of acidic sap, narrowly missing Rossi as he hit the dirt. More vines erupted from the undergrowth, along with bulbous plants spewing clouds of spores. We fought our way through the onslaught, our weapons barely keeping the hostile flora at bay. "There!" Chow pointed towards a clearing ahead. The remnants of an alien structure jutted from the jungle floor, its strange geometry an affront to human sensibilities. As we approached the ruins, a piercing cry shattered the quiet. A pack of chameleonic predators materialized around us, their adaptive camouflage failing as they prepared to pounce. "Concentrate fire!" I yelled, unleashing a barrage from my rifle. The beasts were fast, but we were faster. Enhanced reflexes and coordination allowed us to track and eliminate targets with efficiently. But they kept coming. "Sarge, we need to fall back," Trent shouted, ejecting a spent mag from his sniper rifle. I hesitated for a split second. The mission parameters explicitly forbade the use of our experimental weaponry, except in dire circumstances. This qualified. "Chow, pop smoke! Rossi, give me the package!" Rossi's eyes widened as he realized what I was asking for. He faltered for a moment before tossing me a shiny cylinder. As Chow's smoke grenades filled the air, I activated the device. A wave of searing energy pulsed outward, dropping every hostile in a 50-meter radius. The surrounding plant life withered and died. In the sudden silence, I surveyed the carnage. The ruins hadn't escaped unscathed. Large sections had crumbled under the weapon's onslaught. "Damn it, Sarge," Trent muttered. "Command's gonna have our asses for this." I ignored him, moving to examine the ruins. Most of the structure was unsalvageable, but one section remained intact. "Chow, get over here. See if you can make sense of this." As Chow worked, I felt a sudden, stabbing pain behind my eyes. Images flashed through my mind. Alien cityscapes, baffling technologies, and a sense of impending doom that was about to engulf me. I staggered, catching myself on a piece of rubble. The visions faded, leaving behind a pounding headache. "You all right, Sarge?" Rossi asked. "I'm fine," I lied, straightening up. "Chow, report." "It's some kind of energy signature, sir. Faint, but definitely artificial. And it's coming from—" He paused, double-checking his readings. "Deeper in the jungle." I nodded, making a decision. "All right, we press on. But stay alert. I've got a feeling things are about to get a whole lot worse." The jungle grew denser as we pushed forward, the vegetation closing in around us. "Movement 2 o'clock, Trent whispered through the comm. I signaled the squad to halt, my eyes scanning the area. A massive, silicon-based lifeform lumbered into view. It resembled a cross between a rhinoceros and a boulder, its crystalline hide refracting the dim light filtering through the canopy. The creature turned, faceted eyes locking onto our position. "Hold fire!" I ordered, raising a hand. The beast regarded us with what seemed like curiosity, its crystalline structure glowing with internal light. Suddenly, a piercing shriek shattered the calm. The silicon creature reared back, smashing through the underbrush as it fled. More shrieks answered, echoing through the jungle. "Defensive formation now!" I barked. The squad formed a tight circle, weapons outward, as shapes began to materialize from the foliage. They were humanoid but clearly not human. Reflective scales covered lithe bodies, and multifaceted eyes emitted a soft light. Advanced weaponry powered up in their hands. "Unidentified beings!" A voice boomed in perfect standard. "You trespass on sacred ground. Surrender or be eliminated." I weighed our options quickly. We were outnumbered and in unknown territory. A firefight here could jeopardize the entire mission. "We mean no harm," I called out, lowering my weapon slightly. "We're here on a reconnaissance mission. If we've violated your territory, we apologize and will withdraw." The alien leader stepped forward, its weapons still trained on us. "Your kind always claim peaceful intentions, yet bring only destruction. We've seen the devastation at the outpost. You seek the artifact, don't you?" A flash of pain lanced through my skull, bringing with it a vivid image of a throbbing alien device. I staggered, my vision wavering. "Sarge!" Chow's concerned voice barely registered. The alien leader's eyes narrowed. "The artifact calls to him!" "We don't know anything about an artifact," I managed, fighting through the pain. "Our mission is to secure these ruins and—" "Lies!" the alien hissed. "You will not unleash that evil upon the galaxy again." Time seemed to slow as the alien's finger tightened on its trigger. My reflexes kicked in and I dove to the side as energy bolts seared the air where I'd been standing. "Contact!" Trent shouted, his sniper rifle already picking off targets. The jungle erupted into chaos. Energy weapons and ballistic fire tore through the foliage, turning our surroundings into a war zone. I rolled behind a massive tree trunk, bark splintering around me as I returned fire. "Chow, jam their comms!" I ordered. "Rossi, I need an exit strategy." Chow's fingers moved over his wrist-mounted computer. "Working on it." Rossi lobbed a grenade over our cover, the explosion briefly illuminating the battlefield. "There's a ravine about 100 meters east," he reported. "Might be our best bet for losing them." I nodded, formulating a plan. "Trent, covering fire. Chow, Rossi, you're with me. We're punching through to that ravine. Move!" We burst from cover, laying down suppressing fire as we charged through the alien lines. Their weapons were powerful, but our enhanced speed and reflexes gave us an edge in close quarters. As we neared the ravine, Another lance of pain shot through my head. This time, the vision was clearer. A vast chamber housing a device of complex arrangement, vibrating with energy that was hard to fathom. I stumbled, nearly losing my footing at the ravine's edge. Chow grabbed my arm, steadying me. "Sarge, what's wrong?" "Later," I growled, shaking off the disorientation. "Down the ravine, now!" We half climbed, half slid down the steep incline, the sounds of pursuit growing fainter above us. At the bottom, a swift-moving river cut through the jungle floor. Upstream, I decided, leading the squad into the water. It'll mask our trail. As we slogged through the current, I tried to make sense of what was happening. The visions, the aliens' words about the artifact. It all pointed to something beyond our original mission parameters. "Sir," Trent's voice cut through my thoughts. "We've got a problem." I followed his gaze upstream. The river disappeared into the mouth of a vast cave system, the entrance adorned with symbols. "Looks like we found our way in," Rossi said, a note of unease in his voice. I nodded, making a decision. We press on. Whatever's in there, it's clear Command didn't tell us everything. As we entered the cave, the alien pursuits faded behind us. "Sarge," Chow whispered, his scanner beeping softly. "I'm picking up massive energy readings deeper in the system. Whatever's down here, it's big." I was about to respond when another vision hit me, more intense than before. I saw flashes of an ancient war, worlds burning, and a terrible cosmic force barely contained. When it passed, I found myself on my knees, gasping for breath. "Zane!" Trent was at my side, concern on his face. "What the hell is happening to you?" I stood shakily. "I don't know, but I think I'm seeing memories, not mine, something older, something tied to this place, to the artifact." "Sir," Rossi interjected, "maybe we should turn back. Call for evac. This is way above our pay grade." Part of me wanted to agree, but the soldier in me, the part that had been enhanced and trained to complete the mission at all costs, wouldn't allow it. "Negative," I said firmly. "We push on. Whatever's down here, whatever this artifact is, we can't let it fall into the wrong hands. And right now I'm not sure I trust our own people with it any more than those aliens back there." The squad exchanged uneasy glances but nodded. They'd follow me into hell if I asked. I just hoped I wasn't leading them there now. "Stay sharp," I warned. "No telling what kind of defenses we might run into down here." The cave system narrowed as we moved further. "Energy readings are intense, Sarge," Chow reported, his eyes glued to his scanner. "Whatever's generating this, it's massive." I nodded, fighting off another wave of disorientation. The visions were coming more frequently now, flashes of alien worlds and technologies that seemed to overlay reality. "Zane," Trent's voice cut through my haze. "You sure you're good to lead? You look like shit." "I'm fine," I growled, more harshly than intended. "Keep moving." We rounded a bend and found ourselves facing a vast chamber. The sight stopped us in our tracks. Towering pillars of crystalline material stretched from floor to ceiling, each one thrumming with energy. At the center stood a raised platform supporting a device. It was roughly spherical, about 2 meters in diameter, composed of interlocking segments that shifted and realigned constantly. Arcs of energy danced across its surface, and each pulse sent ripples through the air that we could feel in our bones. "That's got to be the artifact," Rossi whispered, awe evident in his voice. I stepped forward, drawn by an inexplicable urge to touch the device. Another vision slammed into me, stars dying, civilizations falling, a creeping darkness consuming everything in its path. "Don't!" I shouted, more to myself than the others. "Nobody touches it! Chow, can you get any readings without direct contact?" Chow approached cautiously. "The energy output is astronomical, but it's not just raw power. There are data streams, complex algorithms. It's like it's thinking." A sound echoed through the chamber. Footsteps approaching. We took cover behind the crystalline pillars just as a group entered from another passage. It was the aliens who had pursued us earlier, led by the one who had spoken to us in the jungle. "The intruders have not yet arrived," one of them reported. We must prepare the containment protocols. The leader nodded, its multifaceted eyes scanning the room. The artifact grows more unstable by the day if it falls into the wrong hands. I assessed our options. We were outnumbered, in unfamiliar territory, facing an enemy with superior tech. But we had the element of surprise, and our enhancements gave us an edge in close combat. I was about to signal an attack when Chow grabbed my arm, pointing urgently at his scanner. The energy readings from the artifact were spiking dangerously. A blinding flash filled the chamber. When my vision cleared, I saw the artifact had changed. Its segments had realigned into a new configuration, and a beam of concentrated energy was lancing out from its core. The alien leader shouted something, and its companions scrambled to activate consoles around the room. But it was too late. The energy beam swept across the chamber, cutting through anything in its path. Aliens fell, their bodies disintegrating on contact. The air seemed to warp and tear. Trent was closest to the beam's path. I saw his eyes widen in realization a split second before impact. Without thinking, I launched myself at him, enhanced muscles propelling me faster than any normal human could move. I slammed into Trent, sending us both tumbling behind a pillar just as the beam passed. The searing heat of near miss left my skin tingling. "Rossi!" Chow's anguished cry cut through the din. I looked up to see our demolitions expert caught in the beam's periphery. His lower half simply ceased to exist, the edges cauterized instantly. His face was frozen in shock and pain as he toppled to the ground. The beam continued its path of destruction, carving a swath through the chamber walls and into the passages beyond. We ran, the sounds of collapse echoing behind us. The passages we'd navigated earlier were now death traps, entire sections caving in or simply ceasing to exist where the energy beam had passed. What was that device? Why did the aliens seem to be containing it rather than using it? And why did I feel such a strong connection to it? We emerged from the cave system into the alien jungle, gasping for breath. The ground continued to shake beneath our feet. "Sarge," Chow panted, "we need to call for immediate evac. That artifact, whatever it is, it's tearing the planet apart." I activated my long-range comm. "Command, this is Sergeant Blackwood. Mission parameters have changed. Requesting immediate extraction. Be advised, the target is highly unstable and..." My transmission cut off as another tremor shook the ground. In the distance, we could see the jungle canopy rippling like waves on a pond, the devastation spreading outward from the cave system. The jungle trembled around us as we waited for a response from command. Trent kept watch, his sniper rifle trained on the cave entrance we'd just fled. Chow worked on his wrist computer, trying to make sense of the data he'd managed to salvage. My comm activated. "Sergeant Blackwood, this is command. Sit rep now." "Sir, the mission's FUBAR. We've lost Rossi. The artifact is active, highly unstable. It's tearing the planet apart." There was a long pause before command responded. "Understood, Sergeant. Maintain your position. Extraction team is en route. ETA 20 minutes. "Sir, we may not have 20 minutes, I argued, watching as cracks began to form in the ground around us. "Request permission to move to higher ground." "Negative, Sergeant. Stay put." "That's an order." The comm went dead. I cursed, my senses picking up the sound of distant explosions. "Sarge!" Chow called out. "You need to see this!" I moved to his side, looking at the data scrolling across his screen. Most of it was incomprehensible, strings of alien code and energy readings that made no sense. But one thing stood out. A series of coordinates. "It's a network," Chow explained. "The artifact isn't just one device. It's part of a system spread across multiple worlds. And we just activated it." A flash of pain lanced through my skull, bringing another vision. I saw a vast, shadowy form moving between stars, consuming everything in its path. Planets, entire systems wiped from existence in its wake. I came back to reality, my body barely able to handle the strain of these alien memories. "Sarge?" Trent's concerned voice cut through the haze. "We've got movement!" I forced myself to focus, following Trent's line of sight. A group of aliens emerged from the jungle, their weapons pointed at us. But they weren't attacking. They looked desperate. The leader stepped forward, its multifaceted eyes fixed on me. "You," it said, its voice resonating strangely. "You carry the memories. You understand now, don't you?" I took a moment, then nodded slowly. "The artifact. It's not a weapon. It's a containment system." "Yes," the alien confirmed. "Eons ago, our ancestors faced a threat beyond imagining. They created the network to trap it, to keep it from devouring all of reality. And now we've screwed it all up," Trent finished. The ground shook violently, nearly knocking us off our feet. In the distance, we could see the jungle canopy splitting apart, revealing a chasm that seemed to stretch down into the planet's core. "There's no time," the alien leader said urgently. "The network is failing. The entity will soon be free. You must come with us, carrier of memories. You may be the key to reactivating the system." I glanced at my team, torn between our orders and the growing certainty that we were facing something far beyond our mission parameters. "Sarge," Chow said quietly, "whatever this is, it's bigger than us, bigger than command. If what they're saying is true." I made my decision. "All right," I told the alien leader, "we'll come with you, but my team stays with me." The alien nodded. "Quickly then, we must reach the central chamber before—" Its words were cut off by a roar. The sky above us seemed to tear apart, revealing a void of absolute darkness, and within that darkness, something moved. "Run!" I shouted, my legs propelling me forward even as my mind reeled from the impossible sight above. We raced through the disintegrating jungle, aliens and humans united by a common cosmic terror. As we approached the cave entrance, I saw our dropship descending through the fractured sky, attempting an extraction despite the chaos. I keyed my comm. "Negative on extraction. Do not land. I repeat, do not." Too late. A tendril of darkness lashed out from the void above, engulfing the dropship. It vanished without a sound, as if it had never existed. We plunged back into the caves, the alien leader guiding us through twisting passages. Behind us, we could hear the sound of reality itself coming apart. "The central chamber," the alien said as we entered the vast space housing the artifact. "We must reactivate the containment field." I approached the sphere, my head pounding with alien knowledge I could barely comprehend. I placed my hands on its shifting surface, feeling the energy course through me. "Sarge!" Trent called out in alarm. "What are you doing?" I couldn't answer. The artifact's energy merged with my physiology, using me as a conduit to reconnect with the larger network. I saw the cosmic entity, felt its ancient rage at being imprisoned. I pushed back against the encroaching darkness. The artifact flared to life, its energy lancing out to reconnect with its counterparts across the galaxy. The last thing I heard before losing consciousness was Chow's awestruck voice. "My God, Sarge, you did it. You actually did it." Then darkness took me and I knew no more. I woke to the smell of a military medical bay. My senses slowly came back online, cataloguing the steady beep of monitors and the low hum of life support systems. I tried to sit up, but restraints held me in place. "Easy, Sergeant," a familiar voice said. "You've been out for 3 weeks." I turned my head to see Colonel Bradshaw, my commanding officer, standing at the foot of my bed. His face was a shield of stern professionalism, but I could detect a hint of apprehension in his posture. "Sir," I croaked, "the mission, the artifact." "Contained," Bradshaw said curtly. "Thanks to your intervention." Memory flooded back. The alien ruins, the cosmic horror we'd nearly unleashed, the desperate gambit to reactivate the containment system. I flexed my hands, remembering the surge of energy that had coursed through me. "My team?" I asked, dreading the answer. "Corporal Trent and Private Chow survived. They're under quarantine, same as you." "Sir, what happened down there?" "It wasn't what we were briefed for. That artifact, it wasn't just some piece of alien tech. It was—" "That's enough, Sergeant," Bradshaw cut me off sharply. What happened on Avalon 4 is classified. You're to speak of it to no one, understood? I bit back a retort. The Colonel's tone made it clear this wasn't up for debate, but the questions tormented me. How much did Command really know? Were we sent in blind, or was this all part of some larger plan? There's something else, Bradshaw continued, his voice lowering. The docs have been running tests while you were out. Your enhancements. They've changed. That got my attention. I focused inward, taking stock. He was right. I felt different, stronger, faster, but also something else. A constant buzz at the edge of my consciousness, like static on an open comm channel. Changed how? I asked, unable to keep the edge of concern from my voice. Bradshaw's face tightened. We're not sure. But whatever that artifact did to you, it's integrated with your genetic modifications on a level we've never seen before. You're something new, Blackwood. The implications hit me like a plasma round. I wasn't just a super soldier anymore. I was something else. Something that might not be entirely human. What happens now? Now you rest, recover, and prepare for debriefing. Bradshaw turned to leave, then paused at the door. Oh, and Blackwood, don't get too comfortable. This facility is equipped with fail-safes, just in case. The threat was clear. I was an asset, but also a potential liability. One wrong move, and they'd terminate me without hesitation. As the door hissed shut behind Bradshaw, I closed my eyes and focused on that strange new buzz in my mind. Images flashed behind my eyelids. Alien worlds, ancient conflicts, and the vast darkness we'd narrowly contained. I realized with a chill that these weren't just memories anymore. They were a part of me now. The restraints felt suddenly flimsy. With my enhanced strength, breaking free would be child's play. But then what? Where could I go? Who could I trust? For now, I decided I'd play along. Let them run their tests, ask their questions. But I'd be watching, listening, gathering intel. Every day, doctors and scientists paraded through, prodding and scanning, their faces a mix of fascination and fear. I played the good soldier, answering their questions with just enough detail to satisfy, but never revealing the full extent of what I now knew. The buzz in my mind grew stronger. At night, when the facility quieted, I explored this new aspect of myself. Alien knowledge flowed through my consciousness. Star maps, weapon schematics, the ebb and flow of cosmic energies. It was overwhelming, but with each passing day, I gained more control. On the 7th day, they brought in Chow for a joint debriefing. He looked haggard, dark circles under his eyes betraying sleepless nights. "Sarge," he said, relief evident in his voice. "Good to see you up." I nodded, studying him carefully. "You holding up, Chow?" He gave a weak smile. "Been better. They've had me going over the data we recovered. The door hissed open, cutting him off. A stern-faced officer I didn't recognize entered, flanked by 2 armed guards. "That's enough catching up," the officer said briskly. "We have work to do." The debriefing was grueling. They wanted every detail of the mission, every scrap of information about the artifact and the aliens we'd encountered. I could see Chow struggling, the weight of what we'd experienced bearing down on him. As the questioning dragged on, I felt a shift in the air. The officers' questions became more pointed, more accusatory. They weren't just after information. They were looking for someone to blame. "Private Chow," the officer said, his voice cold. "Your actions in accessing the alien database directly contravened mission protocols. Explain yourself." Chow paled. "Sir, I was trying to gather critical intelligence. The situation was deteriorating rapidly and you took it upon yourself to interface with unknown, potentially hostile technology." The officer cut him off. I tensed, sensing where this was going. They needed a scapegoat, someone to take the fall for the mission's disastrous outcome. And Chow was an easy target. "It was my order," I said, my voice cutting through the tension. All eyes turned to me. "Excuse me, Sergeant," the officer asked, a dangerous edge to his voice. I met his gaze steadily. "I ordered Private Chow to access the database. As squad leader, the responsibility for that decision falls on me." Chow started to protest, but I silenced him with a look. The officer studied me for a long moment. "Very well, Sergeant Blackwood," he said finally. "We'll continue this discussion in private. Private Chow, you're dismissed." As Chow was led out, he shot me a grateful look. I gave him a slight nod. Whatever happened next, at least I'd bought him some time. The officer dismissed the guards, leaving us alone in the room. He leaned in close, his voice low and menacing. "You think you're protecting your man, Blackwood. Noble. But let me make something crystal clear. You, Chow, your entire squad, your loose ends, dangerous loose ends." I felt a surge of anger, my muscles tensing involuntarily. The officer noticed, taking a step back. "Careful, Sergeant," he warned. "Remember those fail-safes the Colonel mentioned? I'm authorized to activate them at the slightest provocation." The buzz in my mind intensified. I saw schematics of the facility, security protocols, weaknesses in their systems. With a start, I realized I could probably break out of here, fail-safes be damned. But not yet. Not without more information. Not without a plan. I forced myself to relax, adopting a neutral expression. "Understood, sir. I'm here to cooperate fully." The officer nodded, seemingly satisfied. "Good, because we're not done with you yet, Blackwood. Not by a long shot." As he turned to leave, a final, chilling thought occurred to me. If they saw us as loose ends, what about Trent? Where was our sniper in all this? The door hissed shut, leaving me alone with my thoughts and the ever-present buzz of alien knowledge. One thing was clear. I needed to act soon, before it was too late for all of us. The alien knowledge in my head finally proved useful. As I lay in my medbay bed, I closed my eyes and reached out with my mind, interfacing with the facility's systems. Schematics and security protocols flowed through my consciousness. I located Chow 2 floors down and Trent. My heart sank. He was in the high security wing, life signs erratic. I waited until the night shift change, then made my move. The restraints were child's play for my strength. I disabled the cameras with a thought and slipped into the corridor. 2 guards rounded the corner. I took them down silently, my augmented reflexes making it almost too easy. Their access cards got me to Chow's room. He stared at me wide-eyed as I entered. "Sarge, what the—" "No time," I cut him off. "We're leaving." Chow didn't hesitate. Good man. We made our way to the high-security wing, avoiding patrols with an ease that would have been impossible before my upgrade. Trent's cell was a nightmare. He lay strapped to a table surrounded by medical equipment. His eyes were open but unfocused, his body twitching sporadically. "Shit," Chow whispered. "What have they done to him?" I scanned the equipment, my new knowledge translating the readouts. They're pushing his enhancements to the limit, testing how far they can go. Chow's face hardened. "Let's get him out of here." Alarms went off as we disconnected Trent from the machines. So much for stealth. We half carried, half dragged our teammate through the corridors, the sound of booted feet drawing nearer. We made a sharp turn and came face to face with a group of scientists. I raised my appropriated weapon, but the lead scientist held up his hands. "Wait, we want to help." I lowered the gun slightly. "Talk fast." The scientist spoke quickly, eyes moving restlessly. "Project Titan wasn't what you were told. The enhancements, the mission to Avalon 4, it was all a test. They wanted to see if you could interface with alien tech." "Why?" Chow demanded. "Weapons," another scientist chimed in. "They want super soldiers who can control alien weaponry. Fight fire with fire in case of invasion." The pieces clicked into place. The visions, the artifact, my new abilities. It all made sense now. "Command knew," I said, the realization hitting me. They knew what we'd find on that planet. The lead scientist nodded. "And they were willing to risk unleashing that thing to get what they wanted." "Why are you telling us this?" Because it's wrong, the scientist replied. What they're doing, what they're planning, it will lead to disaster. You need to expose them. I made a split-second decision. Can you get us to a shuttle bay? The scientist nodded. Follow me. We ran through the facility, security forces in pursuit. The scientists led us to a small hangar where a military shuttle waited. As Chow got Trent situated, I paused at the shuttle's entrance. Why risk everything to help us? The scientist's eyes met mine. Because someone has to. Good luck, Sergeant. I gestured affirmatively, sealing the hatch behind me. Sarge, Chow called from the back where he was tending to Trent. Where are we going? I punched in coordinates, the shuttle lifting off smoothly. Somewhere they can't find us. We've got a lot of work to do. As we broke atmosphere, I allowed myself a smile. The stars stretched into lines as we jumped to FTL, leaving Earth and Project Titan behind. But the weight of what we'd learned and what we'd become traveled with us into the unknown. 6 months after our escape, we holed up in an abandoned mining outpost on a backwater moon. Trent's recovery was slow, his nights plagued by terrors from the experiments. Chow threw himself into decrypting the data we'd stolen, his eyes constantly glued to holoscreens. As for me, I struggled daily to control the flood of alien memories that seemed about to consume my identity. Got something, Chow announced one day. You're not going to like it, Sarge. He was right. The files revealed a web of conspiracy spanning multiple governments and mega-corporations, all scrambling to exploit alien tech. Project Titan was just the tip of the iceberg. We have to do something, Trent said, his voice stronger than it had been in weeks. I responded with a slight inclination of my head. We will, but we do it smart. Over the next year, we became ghosts, striking black sites and freeing test subjects across the galaxy. My knowledge let us stay one step ahead, while Chow's tech skills and Trent's marksmanship made us a formidable team. After hitting a major facility on Europa, we made contact with the aliens we'd encountered on Avalon 4. They were cautious but intrigued by what I'd become. You carry the memories of our ancestors, their leader said. Perhaps this is the bridge between our peoples we've sought for eons. As our reputation grew, so did the forces arrayed against us. It all came to a head when we raided a secret summit of Project Titan leaders. We fought our way through security to find Colonel Bradshaw himself waiting, a smug smile on his face. Took you long enough, he said, casually holding a drink. Welcome home, boys. This isn't our home, I growled, weapon trained on his head. Bradshaw sighed. Still don't see the big picture, do you, Blackwood? We're preparing humanity for what's coming. The things you've seen, the knowledge you carry. You know the threats that are out there. By becoming the very thing we're supposed to fight? Chow spat. By doing what's necessary, Bradshaw countered. You've seen what you can accomplish with your enhancements. Imagine an army of soldiers like you, ready to defend Earth. I'm offering you a chance to come in from the cold. Help us reform the project. Do it right this time. With your experience, we can avoid the mistakes of the past. I felt my teammates' eyes on me, waiting for my decision. The alien memories stirred, showing glimpses of cosmic horrors and ancient wars. For a moment, I was tempted. Then I remembered the pain in Trent's eyes, the ethical weight crushing Chow, the lives we'd saved. I lowered my weapon. No deal, I said firmly. We're not going back to being your lab rats or your weapons. There's another way and we're going to find it. Bradshaw's face hardened. Then you're choosing to be enemies of humanity. No, I corrected him. We're choosing to be its conscience. We left Bradshaw there, taking with us enough evidence to send shockwaves through the military-industrial complex. The data went out to journalists, watchdog groups, and even some alien contacts. The fallout would take years to settle. Back on our ship, we charted a course for the fringes of known space. There were more facilities to shut down, more victims to save, and a galaxy of wonders and horrors to navigate. So what now, Sarge? Trent asked, looking more like his old self than he had in months. I gazed out at the star-streaked view screen. Now we do what we were really enhanced for. We explore, we learn, and we make sure humanity doesn't lose its soul while reaching for the stars. Chow nodded, a hint of a smile on his face. Beats following orders. As we jumped to FTL, I felt the weight of alien memories and the responsibility of our choices. We were no longer just soldiers, but guardians of a fragile balance between human ambition and cosmic forces beyond our reach.